Welcome back to Automyca. In today's video, we're about to take an exciting journey through the world of automobiles. Join us as we dive deep into a side-by-side comparison of the new and old Tesla Model 3. What has changed? What has improved? Stick around to find out all the thrilling details. It might appear at first glance that not much has changed when you look at photos of the recently updated Tesla Model 3. In reality, the new Model 3 is a significant refresh rather than an entirely new design. It retains the same batteries, motors, and fundamental structure as the previous model. However, beneath the familiar exterior, you'll discover a refreshed appearance and a substantially revised interior with enhanced materials and advanced technology. True to Tesla's innovative nature, the new Model 3 is far from a mundane mid-cycle refresh of an aging design. There's more newness than meets the eye, and the result is quite astonishing. The new Model 3 presents itself as a fresh car, offering a modern look, a refined feel, and an improved driving experience. Based on the article published by Motor Trend, let's examine the visual differences between them. If you had any doubts, the side view unmistakably confirms that the new Tesla Model 3 is essentially a significantly updated iteration of the old Tesla Model 3. The fundamental structure remains unchanged, including the distinctive arc-shaped roofline, compact rear end, and sleek sides. In fact, the only elements carried over to the new Model 3 are the doors and the rear quarter panel stamping, which includes the section running beneath the doors and the panel encircling the rear wheel. In this perspective, it becomes strikingly evident that Tesla faced considerable challenges when attempting to translate the sleek aesthetics of the larger Model S sedan onto the smaller frame of the Model 3. The outcome, while approximately 80% effective, is hindered by the necessity to maintain adequate interior space within the Model 3's more compact dimensions. This led to the distinctive bubble roof, extending from nearly the edge of the trunk lid to the front wheels, somewhat reminiscent of a front-wheel drive economy car. The heightened roof plays a visual trick by elevating the rest of the Model 3's bodywork, resulting in taller headlights, thicker taillights, and a more substantial rear end, as evident here. Upon closer examination, one can discern the subtle styling refinements in the new Model 3. The horizontal crease on the rear bumper adds structural definition compared to the previous model's softer design, while another horizontal crease on the front fender effectively reduces its visual height. Notably, it's not just the headlights that have adopted a sharper appearance. The entire front end now boasts a more blade-like profile when viewed from the side, greatly enhancing its overall aesthetics. This image also showcases the new 19-inch wheels on the dual-motor Model 3 Highland, while the base single-motor Model 3s feature fresh wheel covers that are similarly sharper in appearance compared to the previous Model 3 with softer, fan-like wheel covers, as seen in the white Model 3 above. The new Model 3 continues the trend of having a roof that extends significantly high into the sky, creating an appearance akin to an upside-down fishbowl. This distinct characteristic is further emphasized by the 3's standard all-glass roof. While the bubble top effect remains, it's quite evident how much more refined the new Model 3's front end looks compared to the older, somewhat bulkier model. The design of the old Model 3 was conceived during an era when Tesla was still incorporating elements reminiscent of a traditional internal combustion car's grille into the front bumper. This design feature, often referred to as the mustache, could also be found on older Model S sedans and the Model Y SUV. The wide-eye headlights followed the contours of the mustache, contributing to the somewhat awkward appearance of the old Model 3's face. At first glance, it might seem as if someone at Tesla used digital editing software to simply erase the mustache, fog lights, side intake vents, and even trim down the headlights. While this transformation may appear to be a digital edit, the streamlined appearance has remarkably elevated the new Model 3's overall aesthetic. The slimmer headlights are reminiscent of those found on the larger Model S, which was a more attractive counterpart that the original Model 3 only partially imitated. The smoothed-over front end leverages the power of the Tesla's all-electric drivetrain to signal that the new Model 3 doesn't require a grille, traditional or otherwise. Cooling air still enters through the narrow lower intake, but Tesla has also updated this intake to manage the cooling needs that were previously handled by the side vents on the old Model 3. On a more practical note, you'll likely notice the significantly reduced panel gaps and an overall improved build quality. This enhancement isn't solely for the satisfaction of those investing in Tesla's entry-level EV. The upgraded body sealing around seams and headlights results in improved aerodynamics, ultimately enhancing the vehicle's driving range. This older Model 3 serves as an illustration of the build quality issues that plagued earlier iterations of the Model 3. Pay close attention to the upper left corner of its trunk lid, where it meets the roof pillar. The entire panel is misaligned by approximately 1 inch, resulting in an odd overlap of the trunk lid over the dark rear glass. In fact, the panel gaps throughout this white dual-motor Model 3's rear end are quite inconsistent. However, when you zoom out, you can observe some early design cues borrowed from the Model S, including taillights split between the quarter panels and the trunk, a substantial section of the body-colored rear bumper, and an overall lack of embellishments. It's worth noting that the new Tesla Model 3 is dimensionally almost identical to the old model in terms of width and height. Nevertheless, the rear view presents a more streamlined, wider, and overall improved appearance compared to the previous version. The taillights have migrated entirely onto the trunk lid, simplifying the need for complex tolerances around the opening, and they exhibit a slimmer design with C-shaped elements. While the rear glass still begins quite high on the trunk lid, giving the roof a somewhat bubble-like appearance. This detail is hardly noticeable against the more refined elements throughout the rear. Tesla's designers have managed to reduce the visual bulk of the rear with a horizontal crease just below the trunk opening, in addition to the taller black plastic lower bumper diffuser element. Furthermore, the Tesla T logo has been replaced by TESLA lettering, emphasizing the new sense of horizontality at the rear end. The collective impact of the changes to the new Model 3 is prominently displayed in this perspective. The red Model 3's sharper creases, updated taillights, and more sculpted front fenders effectively conceal the bubble-top roofline and the model's shorter length compared to the Model S that served as its inspiration. Notably, all of the glass in the new Model 3 is now acoustic, as opposed to the older version, where only the front windows had this feature. This enhancement significantly reduces noise compared to the previous model with thinner-walled glass. In this comprehensive view, the front-end changes in the new Model 3 are clearly evident. Both cars share certain design elements, but the new Model 3 appears sleeker, with a more streamlined appearance. The edgier detailing results from additional creases and crisper contours in the sheet metal and bumpers, which harmonize nicely with the slimmer headlights and new wheels. Virtually everything about the Model 3's exterior is fresh, with the exception of the previously mentioned rear quarter panels and doors. Let's venture inside the Model 3s, starting with the older version. Take note of the somewhat budget-looking steering wheel, wood trim that appears less than genuine, and a degree of inconsistency in fit and finish. Nevertheless, The old Model 3 has its merits, including dual wireless phone chargers, a standard 14-speaker audio system, and an appealing minimalist design. Now, for the new Model 3's dashboard. It's important to acknowledge that the visual comparison might not be entirely fair, as the new Model 3 features the optional white interior, which was also available for the old Model 3. Even when making an apples-to-apples comparison, the new Model 3's cabin stands out due to its expanded use of contrasting color panels on the dash and doors. Material quality has seen a substantial improvement, with more soft-touch materials throughout the interior. Additionally, the peak speaker count has been raised, from 14 with a subwoofer to 17, which includes an extra sub and amplifier. Numerous subtle yet effective changes are evident. The bezel around the touchscreen is slimmer, resulting in a slightly larger screen area, and a thin strip of LED ambient lighting spans the entire interior. The wireless charging pad is slightly deeper, the doors on the cup holders and storage bin have been updated, and Tesla has added blind spot monitoring alert indicators behind the speaker grills at the base of each windshield pillar. Air vent control, as well as adjustments for door mirrors and the steering column, are still managed via the touchscreen without physical controls. The steering wheel is completely new and features a series of touch-sensitive buttons around the scrolling click wheel on each spoke. These buttons provide shortcuts for wiper controls, voice commands, and autopilot at the driver's fingertips, along with controls for the turn signals and high beam flasher. You might wonder why these changes were made. Well, take a look behind the new steering wheel, and you'll notice that the old Model 3's turn signal and shifter stalks are gone. While the former controls have transitioned to the steering wheel, the latter has found a new home on the central touchscreen. To provide an alternative in case the touchscreen malfunctions, Tesla has introduced touch-sensitive PRND buttons on the overhead console, which illuminate when touched. This view illustrates that both the front and rear doors of the Model 3 utilize frameless glass. This design offers aerodynamic benefits and a sleek appearance, but sacrifices noise insulation and a substantial door-closing feel. When you close the doors on the old Model 3, you'd cringe at the loud, hollow sound it produces. If you happen to open the doors too quickly, the side glass can even get caught on the overhead rubber seals if it doesn't power down fast enough. Tesla's improvements in cabin materials significantly pay off in the door-closing experience of the new Model 3. The doors of the new Model 3, both in the front and rear, close with a solid, satisfying whoomph sound, befitting a premium sedan that competes in the same price range as the BMW 3 Series and Mercedes C-Class. Additionally, you can observe subtle changes in the cabin's plastic materials, particularly around the seat cushion and center console areas, which make them appear less cheap. In addition to front seat heating, the new Model 3 now includes standard ventilation for both front seats. The rear seat area of the new Model 3 has seen significant improvements. The cushion is a bit deeper and sits higher off the floor, while a more reclined backrest helps counterbalance the increased seat height to maintain acceptable headroom. On closer inspection, you'll notice a major change to the air vent panel between the front seats. Yes, it's a screen. Every new Model 3 comes equipped with an 8.0-inch high-resolution touchscreen facing the rear seats. This screen allows passengers to stream Hulu, Netflix, YouTube, and more, and also control the new heated rear seats, adjust the front passenger seat position, and change the air vent direction, just like in the front seats. Rear seat passengers can even connect a pair of headphones to the rear screen separately from the front unit, making it easy to enjoy movies on the go. If you didn't bring headphones, no worries. Playing content on the rear screen will automatically switch the audio output to the rear seat speakers. Furthermore, an over-the-air update is on the way to introduce gaming functionality, which can be used while on the move, unlike the front seat gaming setup that only works when the vehicle is parked. Beneath the fresh exterior, updated wheels, and new interior, the Model 3 remains largely unchanged. Tesla has made improvements to the suspension tuning, primarily through the introduction of new frequency-selective dampers. These dampers respond to both higher and lower speed impacts by adjusting their valves, resulting in better ride quality. Additionally, there have been adjustments to the suspension geometry and brake hardware to reduce noise. The base single-motor rear-wheel drive Model 3 and the dual-motor long-range Model 3 continue to use the same batteries, drive motor units, and structural components as before. Given that the batteries and motors are carried over from the previous model, you might expect the driving range to remain relatively consistent, with 272 miles for the single-motor Model 3 RWD and 333 miles for the dual-motor long-range version. However, while final EPA estimates are still pending, Tesla claims an up to 10% improvement in driving range in other markets. This improvement is attributed to enhanced body sealing, improved aerodynamics, and the use of a new Tesla-specific Michelin tire on models equipped with standard 18-inch wheels. There are a few other noteworthy changes to mention. The new stealth gray paint option is available, and pricing is expected to see a slight increase, although it should remain close to the current sub-$40,000 entry MSRP. Please feel free to share your thoughts and questions in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to stay updated on the latest in the world of technology and innovation. Until next time, remember to keep your eyes on the road and your mind on the future. Drive safely and stay curious.